survived an entire practice, but on the checkered lap, the exhaust decided to fall off. The field's so big, they're doing what's called A main and B main. I want to be an A main, I want to go to the front, so I really want to qualify well here. So we're on like lap 2, and yet again, the exhaust has become a problem.
Sorry, exhaust up again.
But your exhaust ends right here.
I've got to try to qualify this thing because we did not get any good qualifying laps in. I went out there and on the out lap, it was too much to bear.
Oh my God.
They're gonna work on the car, they're gonna block off all the holes, they're gonna put a turn down on this thing.
Hi, boys.
As I was pulling out, I realized I forgot to tell Hunter to call green from the backstretch. Thankfully, I was close enough to where I could see the green flag myself, and we got a hell of a start, passed a handful of cars, did a lot of side-by-side stuff, and that was a lot of fun.
Race 1 has gone quite well, but starting to have shifting issues in the straights to where the car just won't go into gear. He's explained it's not like it's grinding or anything, it just won't go into gear.
We're sitting in 4th or 5th at this time. We've got to finish the top 5 to go into A main. So at this point, rather than trying to move forward more, I'm just trying to be very precise with the gear selector. The field had separated pretty good. I knew I didn't have to fight hard for that position any longer. Then a full course caution comes back out, so of course everyone's gonna group back up. I know that my restarts are gonna suck because I've got to be able to snatch gears, and I can't right now, so.
Hey, this restart looks like it's gonna happen, so you will be calling green because they will do the restart on the front. Yeah, he's got green in hand.
In my mind, I'm gonna give up a few positions here just because the second I miss a shift, the whole field's gonna go on by me.
Ready.
We did pretty good on the restart. We held on for a little while. Unfortunately, I did have to give up one position. I was shifting so incredibly slow. We were just a little less on power, so he passed me on the outside heading to China Beach, and there was nothing I could do to defend it. Guys are starting to run me back down. This is what I was afraid of with the yellow flag. I'm not sure who drove the car, but the guy in the green Corvette, who's super clean, man, he went on attack mode heading to China Beach, and he's given me tons of room. I was trying to give him plenty of room. This is for a 5th place finish and puts us into A main, so I had to hang on as best I could. Right in between 8 and 9, something happened. We never contacted one another, but we drove side by side for quite a few turns, and he kind of got loose, and I hate that he got, collected in that, if you will, but it was just some hard racing.
Yeah, that's checkered flag.
We finished 5th, which was great. That pushes us into A main. We're definitely losing a lot of time in the straights. I don't think we've optimized the power.
I'm happy with you, like, in the turns, in the braking zones, we motor. But then we just don't have the straight line speed, so yeah, we gotta figure that out. I don't think it's all aero. No, it's not aero. It's just like we need more power. We just need to add the weight and take the power. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you need to stay closer to the rumble strip for longer. Lost a little time there, so I try to unwind right here. Once you get to right here, start rolling throttle and start unwinding the wheel a little bit.
I've done some track days this year and a couple last year, but I'm still sort of learning going from drifting and then going into the track car because they're very different. I have to just wait halfway through the turn. I'm doing nothing but steering the car. That's really weird to me. I continue to struggle with that. And then of course, China Beach is difficult. I can almost go into a full drift coming over and down the hill. I'm figuring it out. I feel like every session, I'm shaving a second or two off. And with Brian's coaching, he's explaining exactly what to do. And just as an experienced drift driver, I can apply that. So slowly getting better.
He's dropped a lot of time off of his initial laps here. He loved it. He said that the car handles great. I'm not going to use the exact words that he used of how good it was, but it was really, really good. Race 2 is on the way. Thankfully, we just did a few maintenance items. We are in A main, so that's very exciting.
That damper change we made up front, and double check to make sure you've got your traction control and all turned on. Copy. Safety car is off, so expect the green this time.
Race 2 starts, shifting problems immediately. I cover a lot of ground in the turns. Second I get onto the front stretch or the back straightaway, man, every shift is being missed, and then all that ground that I had just made up in the turns, I lose not only it, but a position in the straightaways. Have to fight back for it, and I'm not really going anywhere. It's like I'm just going here and here, here and here, here and here. So I'm missing everything, my third to fourth, my fourth to fifth. I feel like I'm missing 5-year selections per lap.
I'm just so happy for Brian because he hasn't made it through one race, and then now we've been through race 1 and we're in race 2. I'm just glad it's such a good morale booster for Brian and me.
It's just awful.
Here I am thinking the car's working well. We finally made it through 2 races, and I was wrong, completely.
If anything, I'm losing positions, then I'm making them up, I'm covering ground, and then losing everything I worked for.
E23.
It's a very, very frustrating experience right now. It's getting old.
Well, they picked up a few positions, boys, so we're getting there.
The last bit of it was like, I probably drove worse because I was getting very angry. Like every shift I made, I mean, it was like every shift. I could have passed at least 3 more cars. I couldn't get to them because I was missing shifts. So we've now finished 2 complete races, which is a huge win for us at this point. I'm trying to not lose sight of the fact that we are developing the car. It's a terrible time to do it. No one would ever argue that, but that's where we're at. We wanted to compete this year. You know, we bit the bullet and just went for it. But the gear shifter issues are they're the most frustrating thing you could imagine because you know what your pace is. And then while you're trying to drive, you're just losing all that time. So I don't know how to exactly quantify it, but we're losing a lot of time just, you know, searching for a gear. I will say it's nice to not just have to stare at a screen the whole time. You know, normally I'm looking at oil pressure, looking at coolant temp, just what's going on and what's going to go wrong now. So this was, you know, one of the very few times that I actually had the opportunity to just race the car.
What we assume is the biggest problem that we're having is the shift lever is essentially chassis mounted, but the trans isn't. Neither is the engine. So under load, the engine and transmission are moving like this. The shifter's staying in the same place, meaning the gate for each gear is moving around, but the shifter can't move around with it. So to try to not solve the issue, because we can't solve the issue here, but to try to help it, we added 2 2mm thick rubber washers underneath the chassis mounted plate in order to kind of give it a little bit of play. We also changed the shift knob to a non-weighted shift knob. And just sitting still, you can feel a lot more resolution when you're shifting. So hopefully that just helps make it easier, better. It's not gonna fix the issue, but maybe it'll make it more manageable.
I gotta think about my whole life before I get out on track. I gotta think about everything from the beginning to the end, because I'm starting 23. And I don't know if y'all know, but that's pretty good. Just remember, man, when you're out on track, just remember this, okay? All right, man, go do a good job.
Heading into race 3, we got new tires, we've got new rotors. They've messed with the gear shifter a little bit. I don't think it's completely fixed, but they say it's going to be better. I stayed out of it, like I said before. I just want the car and I just want to go race. So that was not what I expected to happen on the first lap of race 3. Kind of peeking through what I can see to try to get the car back to pit lane.
I'm here. How the
So after I pulled in, I got out of the car, I was pretty angry. It's not really in my nature to get that mad. I was just a frustration of the entire year. I'd kind of hit that point where it's like, hey, we've got a great car. Oh, by the way, you can't see anymore. So, you know, looking back on that, I could have certainly handled that situation differently, and moving forward, I will, because like I said, it's not really in my nature to explode like that. And so I was a little aggravated at myself, you know, looking back at that and seeing how I reacted.
So the hood flew up, which is terrible and embarrassing. It happens to the best of us. It actually happened to me at Gingerman. My hood flew up. And those push button hood latches, don't use them. As we saw with the engine hitting the hood, the engine's moving so much that it's basically punched the hood upwards, and those push lock hood latches, and we have the brand name ones, but they can't take that kind of force.
Oh, you're trying to record something?
Yeah, that's fine. Knock my phone off.
Entering race 4 in the survive mode, I guess, is it's never a fun place to be. It's like highs and lows, you know, and race 3 felt like it was going to be a high. It was not. When what you're supposed to be doing changes, when our race changes, meaning survive mode, you just switch your brain, go to that gear, and stay in that lane. Started race 4 in the back, obviously, since we DNF'd in race 3. I just want to hang in there, get this race, you know, under the belt, and then try to figure out how to solve all these problems.
First caution.
I think the biggest thing for me this weekend is when Will, Landon, and myself went to China Beach, and standing right there within whatever it is, 15 feet of the car, and just seeing the cars go by, seeing our car go by, just filming it on my phone, that really brought a lot of passion back for this. And I don't know why, but just for some reason, being that close and seeing it happen and seeing him pass people every time through China Beach kind of just brought me back.
He's got green in hand, so are you ready? Green, white, green, white. Green, green, green.
So looking at the weekend, like if you zoom out and really look at the weekend as a whole, each weekend we do move forward, maybe not literally as far as, finishing, in the top 5 of A main or something like that. But the car's moving forward, and even as a team, we're moving forward.
Well, we made all the races.
This is, when it was good, it was good, when it was bad, it was obviously bad, but a lot of that is racing,
I appreciate no one, I'm sorry I got mad, but I do appreciate everyone else having good attitudes about it all. And then, I know this, we have not had a good season. And what I'm getting is I appreciate you allowing us to keep pursuing it.
It's been brutal. I mean, it's definitely a roller coaster. Race 1 was terrible. Race 2 was awful, worse than race 1. I'm not talking about this weekend, I'm talking about the big weekend, yeah. And then race, what is this, 3?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, we made every single race. The hood flying up is not a recurring issue now. It happened at Gingerman, it happened here.
said, wait a minute.
It does seem to be trending as a reoccurring thing, but
Ultimately, a bad weekend, but also a good weekend that had a lot of tiny, tiny wins.